All right, tubing bender is out, and I have finally decided on 1.75 inch, but I haven't decided on 120 or 90 wall. So it doesn't start. I tried cranking it. The old battery didn't survive, but this even older Optima Marine or Deep Cycle Marine style battery, surprisingly, it's still good. I mean, the thing must be 10 or 12 years old, and it literally sat in a battery stack forever. But it took a charge, so we'll be running that. The HVAC's finally out of it now, so the box is out, the heater core, the evaporator's out, condenser's out, fans need to go back in, the compressor, the little idler pulley, so that's one less idler and one less idler bearing and one less compressor bearing I have to worry about going out. Although, you just cut the belt out if you were in a race, and I don't think anybody's running an AC unit in a race. But it opened up so much space on this side of the car, which is nice because you can see the steering column shaft back there and the U-joint, which is nice to be able to take a look at now and then in a race car. If you notice, that is not so pretty. I mean, it is nasty. So 175,000 mile style nasty. So I don't know if we're going to be able to clean it up and get it working. We put some penetrant on it, added some oil to the engine because it was a couple quarts low. Cranked it, it didn't fire. Sprayed some fuel down the intake, still didn't fire. It just popped. So gas could be really stale. I don't know. I am considering getting rid of the power booster, the Stockmaster, and the ABS, and just making an adapter plate for the firewall and going to like a Willowwood or a Brembo, well, it'd be a Willwood. I'd put a Willwood master cylinder and then just run the brakes manual and put a bias valve in the car instead of the ABS. But I do like the idea of the ABS because when people get in trouble, they're not so likely to square up the tires. So the other thing I'm thinking about is getting rid of this little heat barrier wall right here and going from the strut tower to the firewall, reinforcing the firewall a little and connecting my strut towers and then triangulating them. So that is a possibility. It might come a little later. We'll see how it handles and how much it pushes around the front end. But that's a possibility. We're going to get rid of the hood latch, put a couple hood pins in it, and some aluminum hood pins. We'll get rid of the prop rod, and that'll take care of that. Also, probably, it's all the wiring, we started on that today. We're probably just going to pin the deck lid on. Probably 4 aluminum pins in the corners, and then we get rid of the hinges and all that stuff. So, well, we are into the wiring. So the wiring all for the Bose system, the heated rear window, and that kind of stuff is out of here now. So left the ABS in there. I left the taillight wiring in it for right now. I think that goes down to the evap canister, and we'll be able to get rid of that. We'll also be able to get rid of the electric latch there. So a couple things we can get rid of back here. We'll probably cut open, right along this line right here, cut it open, let the air out from the back of the bumper. And as we still know, the stock exhaust is in here. And I realized, man, it's going to be a lot heavier than I thought. Plus, it's got this bump plate in here. I bet I saved 35 pounds when I just come out with a little single out here. So we're looking for a good used, beat-up exhaust. Just a single with no cats. So, or test pipes. I also want to do either polycarbonate or Lexan side windows. We talked about that. That'll let me put a Naka duct in here. Let me see if I can draw one. Something like that. And then we can run a cooling hose down to the rear brake rotor through the firewall or through the wheelhouse. And we could get rid of this one. And that's about, man, like I've said before, that's some good weight savings. So that is basically the ABS system and the Bose system and the seat electrical from here back. So there's still all the wiring up in the dash needs to come out. I went up into the header, so all the wiring out here for the power top and the not power top, but the sunroof, the visor lights, and the rearview mirror, all that stuff's all gone. That harness is gone, so that's all cleaned up. What I'm probably gonna do is trim this right here, and it'll just have the dash cap. Well, I'll put the bezel back in it. It won't work or anything. Maybe the clock will work. I don't know. Depends on how good my my Nissan reflashing skills are. So I'd like to keep the hazard just to keep it, but leaving the console in, it's just a little cleaner. It's completely gutted now. So there's stuff that has to do still with I think it's anti-skid or something. Anyways, it's your yaw sensor. SRS box still needs to come out. I need to get, tamper-proof Torex still. But the console with this part will give us, we'll make something for right here so we can mount some switches and stuff. Unless we clean up the entire steering column and get rid of the stocks. Or, I'm sorry, if we don't clean up the whole steering column, we keep the stocks, I don't really need this part, so we'll kick that around on whether or not we cut it all the way across and get rid of this too, or that's kind of up in the air. So all that'll come out, and then when I make the sidebars and the knee brace, or not knee brace, the knee bar, so it just kind of depends on how the cage starts going together. But the wheel's definitely getting replaced, and it'll most likely have a QD. So it's a couple more pounds there for the airbag. Man, I got lucky. I sold that airbag right there, which was kind of cool. And the condenser is going. So we're actually not doing bad on this car. It has these, which are heavy, and they tie the B pillar back into the mainframe. And if I design the cage right, I'll be able to tie the B pillar to the cage and also to this piece right here. That's what I'd like to do. And with the amount of weight that this thing is, man, I can do it with a piece of chrome moly and just tie that in really easy, and it'll be even stiffer. So, and we'll probably stitch weld up some of the chassis. We'll get in here with a TIG and just start TIGging up some stuff, some body seams. What else? If we go to a fuel cell, which is our next thought, our fuel capacity goes up to 24 gallons, the maximum allowed, as opposed to the saddle tank right now that's 20 gallons. So we get to carry more fuel, but we get to carry more weight. And I don't know, we're planning on doing driver changes every 2 hours. I don't think it'll go through 20 gallons of fuel in 2 hours. It might, but I don't think it will. And the other thing I don't like about the saddle tank, so this is why we're weighing it all, is there's a transfer pump on that side. And that is sometimes is not good enough to be transferring the fuel back and forth. So some people I've talked to have said that other cars like BMWs, their transfer pump transfers so slow that they kind of run out of gas, or they're having problems with their transfer pump. I'm not sure. Anyways, if we go fuel cell, it'll have to go back there. I'll have to decide on, shoot, if I could get away with a 15-gallon tank, I'd rather run a 15. So we'll see what we can do there. The back braces for the main hoop, I think, are either going to go up here at the top of the shock, or whatever, the top of the tower, or down in there. I really like down in here because this thing is frame rail and it's freaking solid. So I could come straight through this hole and just come up to the, right into the hoop right here. And that's still like 45-degree angle, right? If you look at it coming, something like that. So, yeah, that's where we are right now. So, stay tuned. We'll get around to number 4. We'll start bending up the main hoop. Containment seats in it, or just setting in it. I'm going to make a false floor for that side, because just the way the seat, even if I don't use this seat with a pretty laid back angle in it, it just the floor with all these, holes in it and everything. The other side's even worse than this side. So it's a super uneven platform. And I just want to get a false floor in on that side. So that's one of the next things we're going to work on. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, give me your opinions, and we'll catch you in the next one.